As we always pointed out, the crowd-pleasing smash hit Deadpool and Wolverine was a fluke, and not indicative of any exciting new creative direction for Marvel. Instead, they instantly returned to dreary form with the ratings flop Agatha All Along, which is performing even worse than The Acolyte. And on the big screen, brand new test screening leaks indicate that Captain America 4 is still a boring disaster, even after being remade several times over. And that in turn will be followed by The Thunderbolts, a wannabe Suicide Squad comprised of characters that never really took off, either on the big screen or small screen. The most notable among them is Sebastian Stan's Bucky Barnes, though he feels that despite their many and continued missteps, no one should criticize Marvel. Let's see why not. Promoting his movie The Apprentice, a movie I have not yet seen and can't really comment on any further, though some statements made about it leads me to think that the people behind it just might hope it will convince some of the Orange Man supporters to not vote for him in a few weeks here. But be that as it may, it was while promoting this movie in GQ magazine that Sebastian Stan also commented on Marvel and criticism leveled against them. His comments on this topic were also picked up by Deadline Hollywood, and their write-up reads, "Sebastian Stan is not here for Marvel criticism and defends the studio as the MCU continues to transition." The actor, who is set to reprise his role of Bucky Barnes in Marvel's Thunderbolts in 2025, has positive things to say about his time working with the studio. "I've never been part of a company that puts so much heart and thought into anything," Stan said in an interview with British GQ. Oh really, Stan? I get that this isn't even a real interview, but part of the marketing campaign for The Apprentice, and that you obviously can't speak ill of Marvel when you're under their employ. But really? Was there that much heart and thought that went into, well, outside of Deadpool and Wolverine, anything they made the last 5 years? Take Secret Invasion. Was there much heart and thought that went into retroactively making every Rhodey appearance since 2016 a Skrull imposter? Did much heart and thought go into making Emilia Clarke the ultimate girl boss and the most powerful being in the entire MCU? Did any thought at all go into She-Hulk, the Eternals, or indeed any of the other characters introduced the past 5 years, of which none have really clicked? Deadline Hollywood continues. Marvel has been getting a lot of criticism for their latest films as they introduce new superheroes. Yeah, that would be because they all suck. Or, to be clear, Marvel has an amazing roster of thousands of characters, many of whom have excellent big screen potential. But unfortunately, they have chosen to disproportionately focus on characters introduced in the comics in the last decade. And nearly every one of them is a DEI showcase aimed at replacing a classic fan favorite. Put plainly, the characters and storylines that decimated Marvel Comics are the very ones they're bringing to life on the big screen right now. One example is Amadeus Cho, an Asian child who replaced Bruce Banner as the Hulk in the comics for several years. And guess what? The character is now rumored to appear in Captain America 4, so that's another reason not to be excited for that movie right there, the newly introduced characters. But Deadline Hollywood continues their write-up, but Stan makes note that there isn't another studio to replicate what Marvel has done. "I think if Marvel was gone, it'd be such a big hole to try and fill up. Don't just go out there and shit on something without offering something better." Or in other words, he's telling everyone, don't criticize unless you can do better. No, Stan, that's not how the Force works. Marvel makes commercial entertainment products for the masses who hands over their cash for the privilege of enjoying those entertainment products, which have at times been so impactful that they shape culture. At that point, Marvel becomes part of the public discourse. That in turn means that the audience absolutely gets to criticize, and so does everyone else. Of course, That doesn't mean that Marvel has to listen to this criticism, but if they don't, they run the risk of gradually losing the very audience that makes them relevant. And that's kind of where Marvel is right now. The once biggest entertainment brand in history is, the fluke that was Deadpool and Wolverine notwithstanding, in a stage of ongoing collapse, brought on entirely by forcing DEI programming the audience never asked for or signed up for down their throats. And they're doing this to the detriment of the brands and characters audiences worldwide love and respond to. So, when the current heads of Marvel shirks their responsibility as temporary custodians of an institution that should outlive them, then yes, everyone gets to criticize, and Feige and friends have it coming. Luckily though, even if Marvel is in a mess right now, there's more than Marvel out there. There was, after all, a world before the MCU hit theaters, and there will be after. Mixing before and after is the upcoming remake of Nosferatu, which I have to say looks fantastic. And as many of you already know, that has inspired us to take a deep dive into the original Nosferatu, providing a Midnight's Edge experience, comprised of a more than 40-minute-long retrospective on the original movie, which will detail why it is such an influential classic. And then our own remaster of the movie itself, where we have added new title cards based on our new translations of the original German title cards, new instrumentation and a brand new original score. And perhaps most importantly, for the first time since the movie's original release more than a century ago, we have reconstructed the colored tinting in a way which at all times indicates the correct time of day, as well as the correct passage of time. And no matter which version of the movie you may own on DVD or Blu-ray, it doesn't do that. All earlier releases have major tinting mistakes, which we fixed. The full Nosferatu Midnight's Edge experience will be available on our brand new channel Midnight's Edge Retrospectives and Classics. And the watch page for the premiere of the retrospective, which will be released first, is already up. Do us a favor and subscribe to the new channel if you haven't done so already, and then be there for the premiere. Not only will that help the video find an audience on a brand new channel without history, we'll be there live in the comments. And on that note, let me know if you think Marvel is above criticism in the comments.